And we are recording. Now, remember I told you there's two types. There is uniform distribution. You're going to see two or three questions on uniform distribution. And uniform distribution is usually, I don't know why it's not getting the whole, no, that's not going to work. It's not getting the whole. Let me check. I don't know why it's not doing that. I don't want it there. Let me change the mode. That's not gonna work. I'll just leave it like this. There we go. Okay, so uniform distribution is going to be a rectangle, and usually it's going to have to do with time. Why? Because time is the only thing that we can't control. So therefore you have the uniform distribution of a straight line instead of a normal curve. Now, in this section in chapter 7, remember I told you Tuesday that all areas are equal to 1.0000. Okay, 4 digits. Remember I told you 4 digits is area, 2 digits is z-score. And this is a normal distribution. So these are the two type questions you're going to have in chapter 7. Okay? This one is all based on area of a rectangle is equal to base times height. So if I give you a base of 0 to 60 minutes, that base is equal to 60. And how do I solve for h? I divide by 60. So my height is equal to 1/60. So I take a colored marker, and my height of this box now is 1/60. Or you might see it written like this, with a little hash mark right there. Either way, the height of that rectangle is 1/60. Now here's the question. The question may say, Hubert teaches a stat class for 60 minutes. What is the probability that he will go over 45 minutes? What is the probability that he will go over, or he will go at least 45 minutes? Okay, that'll be the question. The question up here will say, Hubert teaches for 60 minutes, usually, okay? And it'll say, it'll be a very short paragraph, but it'll be something to the effect, and they give you the base right here. Sometimes they will automatically give you the height. Sometimes you have to calculate it. But it's always going to be 1 over whatever the base is, okay? So the probability of at least 45, so that means I've got to draw 45. Well, we know this is 30. And 30, half of 30 is 15. So there's 45 right there. So they want to know this area right here. What is the probability that he's going to go 45 minutes? Actually, at most. At most 45 minutes. So what is the probability that Hubert's going to teach for 45 minutes? Okay? So now, what is our base? We want area, right? So area is equal to, Miss McCann, you can't see what I'm writing? Open your microphone up. You can't?
I cannot.
Ms. Vaughn, Adam, can you see?
I can see it. It's just on a really bad delay.
I know. I can't help that. Okay, Miss Adams can see. All right, Miss McCann, this usually works, okay? I'm going to take you out of the meeting. I want you to X out and make sure you're green, and I'm going to pull you back in, okay? That usually fixes it. So I'm going to take you out. And I'm going to bring her back in. And I spelled her name wrong. MCC. There she is. Okay, Miss McCann, hopefully you'll be coming in just a second. And hopefully you'll be able to see it after it does its thing. Just go ahead and tell me if you can see it or not.
I can see it now.
Okay, that usually fixes it. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. All right, so there's my 45 minutes. So how do I do the area of that purple? Somebody tell me. What's the base? The base is 45, and the height is 1/60. So that's going to be A is equal to 45/60, and then turn that into a decimal. Somebody do that for me on your calculator if you got a calculator. 45/60. That's equal to 9/12, which is 3/4. 0.75. Somebody check me. Yes, it is. Okay, thank you. All right, so that means there's a 75% chance, based on Hubert teaching usually 60 minutes, there's a 75% chance that he's going to go 45 minutes at least. Okay? So that's how you use the uniform distribution. Okay? And the only difference between the question, one question may give you this, and the other type question, they may ask you to calculate. But they're going to give you at least the base. Okay? They've got to give you the base in some way, somehow. They may say that an economics class lasts an hour and a half. Well, you need to change that into 90 minutes. So that way your base is 90. And then, of course, your height would be 1/90. And then you would answer the question, what's the possibility that, that the class will go from 60 to 70 minutes? And then you would do 60 to 70, and that would be a base of 10 times 1/90th, which would be 1/9, which will be whatever that comes out to be. Okay? So that's a uniform distribution. You're talking about 2 questions on the test. Probably 2, maybe 3. Okay? Most is going to be these. Most of your Chapter 7 material is going to be on the normal curve. Okay, so we're going to get into that now. Can you think of a well, I'll tell you what. Tell me how many seconds it is for when I say go. Tell me how long it is before you see the word go, okay? Go. How many seconds it is before you saw the word go after I said go? Y'all can speak.
It literally just appeared.
It what?
It just showed up, like, right when you said y'all can speak.
Okay, so how many seconds was that?
Like a
Oh,
15-second delay.
About 15-second delay?
Yeah.
Well, I just wondered. You remember the other morning, Tuesday morning, it was my calculus class said it was like a minute delay. So I guess it's better. I don't know. I tried to clean up my computer. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna close out that calculator and see if that helps. Because that calculator, Geek Squad told me that calculator takes up a lot of RAM. So I'm going to try it again. All right, you ready? I'm going to say go, and you count. After I say go, I want you to count 1001, 1002 until you see the word go. Okay? You ready? Go.
Nine.
9 seconds. Okay. Well, maybe it went from 15 seconds to 9 seconds. Maybe that calculator will help. All right. So remember me telling y'all to Google the normal curve and make sure. I'm gonna do this in a new marker because I need a sharp point. Let's see. Let's do it in. I go through Sharpies. Let me tell you. Before I had a whiteboard, I used to have cases of these things in my office. I love the smell of them. They smell great. Okay, so make sure you go to Google and you print out these graphs so you can have a nice graph and print it out. Maybe put 2 to a page. I would put 2 to a page or maybe 3 and print out like 10 copies because the rest of the semester, this is all you're going to be doing is drawing these things. All right, and make sure it has 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. Make sure it has the z-scores, 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. Now, it can't have the question mean and standard deviation because it doesn't know the question. But this is your basic curve. You need to have at least 10 copies of this already drawn with 2 or 3 on each before you even start chapter 7 because you're going to need it. Not even mentioning 8, 9, and 10. So for the one person that's going to do it, make sure you do a good copy, not one lopsided like this one. All right, and it probably would also help you. I don't have a highlighter. Yeah, I do. No, I don't. It probably would also help you to remember that and maybe take a highlighter before you run the copies. Like if you have one master, make sure you highlight with a highlighter, a real light highlighter, that green area right there between 2 standard deviations. And remember, that's called what? Normal. Or not unusual. And then, of course, what's outside of not unusual? Unusual. And then your outliers. That's where you get the nickel rule. I told you the nickel rule. The nickel rule says if your probability is over a nickel, then it is normal. If your probability is less than a nickel, it's a what? It's unusual. What's 2.5 plus 2.5? 5. Okay? So that's a nickel right there. So if you get a probability, and you're going to see this in chapter 7, if you get a probability and it comes out to be 0.02, well, that's 2 cents. 2 cents is less than a nickel, so it's unusual. So you need to write that down because that's going to get you. All right? I call it the nickel rule. Okay? And I don't think anybody calls it that, but I don't even know how to spell nickel. I always get EL, and I think that's right. Nickel rule. The nickel rule says that if your probability of an event is greater than a nickel, then it is normal or not unusual. You will see not unusual in your future books or whatever. If the probability is less than a nickel, or less than a nickel, then you have unusual. Okay? So remember that nickel rule. Now, I'm going to tell you the 2 different types of problems you're going to see with the normal distribution. And if you have a new calculator, you only got one. Okay? I'll explain that in just a minute. All right. Also, the 2 rules, the 2 equations that you're going to use with the normal distribution are z-score is equal to x minus x bar over standard deviation. That's one formula. And the other formula is x is equal to Oz plus mu. Now the reason I use Oz plus mu and I don't use x is equal to S times Z plus X bar is because I can remember Oz plus mu a whole lot easier than I can remember X is equal to SZ plus X bar. You see what I'm saying? Everybody knows what Oz is, Wizard of Oz, and you can remember Oz plus mu. So those are the 2 formulas that you're going to be using in 7.1 and 7.2, depending on wherever they start these problems. So for chapter 7 and 8 and 9, you got to make sure you have a good copy of this with everything you want on it, and highlight whatever you want to highlight, and then make sure you run 10 or 20 copies of it, depending on how many you have on each one, so you can draw pictures. I would say either 2 to a page or 3 to a page. Now you may want to run some with 5 to a page or 6 to a page. That way you could do it for homework. But on a test, I would have 2 or 3 for a page so you wouldn't get all cramped up. Okay, so chapter 7, the beginning of chapter 7, you need to make sure you have this. You need to make sure you remember the nickel rule. And you need to make sure you know these 2 formulas before, we get started, or make sure you have them in front of you as we do the problems. All right. Now there's 2 types of problems for the normal. I'm going to write this in red. The first type of problem will be a problem that gives you a mean of 0 and a standard deviation of 1. That's what I call the z-score problems. Okay, because you already got the z-scores on the bottom, you don't have to do anything. Okay, you don't have to do anything with a newer calculator either. The other type problem that you're going to have is going to be mu is equal to, let's say, this is an example. They're not always going to be like this. 100 and a standard deviation of 10. Okay? This is when you have to convert to a z-score. Or if you've got a newer calculator, you don't have to worry about it. You just do the same thing you did over here. Okay? So, those are the two types of problems you're going to have with the Chapter 7 and 8 with the normal curve, and 9 also, and 10. Okay, so I'm going to wait at least 9 seconds to make sure. Tell me when you see convert to z-score. Just type it in when you see, just say, see it. Okay, one person says they see convert to z-score, so that means I can go to the next page. All right, here's an example. Oh, one more thing I want to add to this, and I need you to add a number of, I need you to add a arrow down here and an arrow right here. Now, remember in algebra, this arrow was called negative infinity. This arrow was called positive infinity. Well, we can't use infinity in statistics. So we're going to use, instead of infinity, we're going to use negative 9999 and positive 9999. So make that, put that on there too. Okay? And that's what you're going to use in your calculator. Instead of negative infinity and positive infinity, you're going to use 9999 and negative 9999. All right, so here we're going to do a problem. Problem's going to state, find, let me do it in black. This is an example. Find the probability. Now, when I say probability, the question can also stay in, instead of probability, they can say area, or they can say percent or percentile, like P with a number, I'm going to say 30th. Okay? Find the probability. Okay, all three, it could say find the area, find the percentage, find the 30th percentile. Okay? All of those can be in here. Okay? Find the probability with a z-score, or it may say standard score, of 1.3. So the first thing you want to do, and they're going to say mean is equal to 0 and standard deviation is equal to 1. And remember when I told you, when you see those words, mean and standard deviation, when you say mean and standard deviation, that means draw the curve. So draw the curve. Zero, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. And it's going to be 0.15, 2.35, 13.5, 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. Now we're going to plot 1.3 because this is z-score, and we're going to plot that z-score, and I'm going to do it in red. I don't like to write in red, but I'm going to do it in red because it's easier to see versus the black. So 1.3, there's 1.5, so I'd say 1.3 is right in here. Oh, and I forgot to put over here -9999 and positive 9999. Now, sometimes the question will say at 1.3, like I've done here. Sometimes it will say over 1.3. Sometimes it will say less than 1.3. Well, if it says of, then that means equal sign. That means exact. If at means equals. If it says less than, that means what? To the left. If it says more than, that means to the what? Right. But we're going to do all three, okay? Because, well, we're going to do two because technically the equals can be one of these, but you'll see when you start seeing the question, it really doesn't matter. Just be sure you know the difference between these two, okay? So, the calculator, which way do we read? We read from left to right. So you will put in your calculator, and I'm going to pull the calculator up right now and let y'all write it down. Well, I'm trying to get my mouse. Is there something wrong with my mouse? There it is. My mouse went dead. Okay. It wasn't supposed to disappear. There we go. I'm going to move this over. I don't know if I can pull the calculator up and make it small, but I'm going to try. So technically, we're getting the left-hand side here because we read from left to right, and if we're going to put in the lower value, then we're basically finding the area up to that 1.3. So let me see if I can make this get smaller. I don't think I can, but we'll see what happens. No, that must be it. No, I can make it smaller. There we go. Y'all are so blessed. All right. Now. All right, write this down. You're going to hit second. I'll write it down for you. Second. Bars. Normal. CDF. And somebody tell me what number that is, because I can't ever remember. Oh, well, I've got it right here. All right, so second, bars. Bars is right beside the clear button. That means variables. I didn't hit the right button. I'm sorry. Second, bars. There we go. Normal CDF. Now, the lower is negative 9999. So negative 9999. Upper is 1.3. Now see, this is where a new calculator will help you. See, you don't have to calculate because you have the ability to punch in the mean and the standard deviation. On the old calculators, this was 1 or 0 and this was 1, and you couldn't change it. Now you can. So I'm going to change this to 0. I'm sorry, yeah. And 1. And paste. Okay. Now, before we get the answer, I want to go back to, I want you to tell me what you think the answer is going to be. There we go. Oh, shoot. Keep sending it to the TV. Why is it doing that? Hold on. It's a conspiracy. I think my mouse is going crazy. Okay, now it's just cut off top of my, y'all see that? It's cut off the top of my, who knows? It's cut off the top of my document cam. I don't have any tools up at the top. I don't know. Anyway, so add up from left to right. We know this is 50%, don't we? Don't we know this is 50%? Yes. Okay. So if that's 50%, we know this is 84%. And we know that this 1.3, that's a third. So a third of 13 is what? 4? So this is 4 or 5 right here. So I'm going to add 5. I'm going to say it's around, I'm going to say around with a squiggly and a dot, roughly 89%, 0.8900. Now, what did I just use? I just used the empirical rule to tell me where the answer is going to be around. Okay? Now I'm going to go back to the okay, y'all gonna have to excuse me. I don't know if y'all could see it, but I used to have a menu bar up here above the, and it's gone. So I don't know what happened to my menu bar. I guess it just disappeared. So let me pull the calculator back up and hit enter. 0.9032 is your actual answer. 0.9032. So there's 90%, so 1.3 represents 0.902 probability. Going back to the drawing. Now okay, that's nice. Now my menu is back. It's awfully nice of you. Appreciate it. Now, what's the right side? Can somebody guess? And you can turn your microphones on if you want to. Can somebody guess? I'll color it green. Can somebody tell me what this area is without using your calculator? Or to explain to me what this green area is. Just explain it to me if you know it. Starts with a C. That would be the complement. This is the complement of 0.9032. What's under the curve? The whole curve is 1. So if this is 90 cents, then this is going to be around what? 10 cents. So this area right here is going to be equal to 1 in black, because 1 is what's under the curve, minus the area to the left of your mark is 0.9032. And that equals, let's see, what is that? 0.0968. Somebody check me. 0.0968. And that is the area to the right of 1.3. Now that's one type of question you will get.
So how do we find this answer if we don't have a newer calculator? Are we supposed to just guesstimate using the empirical rule? Or...
Well, no. What kind of calculator do you have?
I have a TI-83.
Okay, then it should be set on z-scores. So you can do this problem. Okay? So you would type in second bars, and you would type in normal CDF, and then you would type in negative 9999, and then comma, and then 1.3, close parentheses, and hit enter. And tell me what you get.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Now, when we do the next problem, you're going to have to change your scores to z-scores to put it in your calculator. So, everybody got that one? That's your first type of question. All right, your second type question, let's go ahead and draw a curve. Oh, Lord, the movie stars are going to give us a concert. I just heard it on the news. I can go jump in a lake for all I care. Okay, there's our, and if you want to, make sure you add the highlight on 2. You don't have to. That's normal. And outside of that, with the nickel rule, that would be unusual. All right, so the question will say, with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 20, find the probability of a score greater than I'm thinking 145. Okay, so you want to find the score greater than 145. Well, first of all, what do they give you? They give you a mean and standard deviation, so that means you got to put it on the curve. So I'm going to put 100 right here. That would be 120, 140, 160, and 80, 60, and 40. Make sure I didn't mess that up. 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160. Okay, good. Now, if you have a newer calculator, all you have to punch in is 145 negative, or 145 to infinity. Don't forget your infinities. 9999 and negative 9999. Okay, they want a score of 145. So let's just go ahead and plot 145 because we want to make sure we know what we're doing. So score greater than 145. 145, that's 160. We know this is 20, so 4 quarters would be 5s. So that's 145 right there probably. And they want to know this area right here. So if you've got a newer calculator, all you got to type in is second bars 120, or I'm sorry, 145 to 9999, and the mean is 100, and the standard deviation is 20. And boom, you got your answer.
Hi there.
But as Miss Adams said, she ain't got a new calculator. So what she's going to have to do is she's going to have to use the z-score, convert this. Okay, so 145, the z-score formula, z is equal to x minus x bar over standard deviation. So x minus x bar over 20. So that's going to equal 45 over 20. Well, 20 will go into there 2 times, right? And that would be 5 over 20, which is equal to 0.5 over 20 be 0.25, wouldn't it? Somebody check me. Y'all go ahead and turn your microphones on because we're almost finished. So is that 45 divided by 20 is 2.25?
Yes.
So Miss Adams would punch in 2.25 to 9999, and she can't change 0 and 1, and she should get the same thing that y'all get with your new calculator. So I'm going to take my handy dandy empirical rule, and I'm going to find out. I know this is 5%, so my answer is going to be less than 5%, because I'm sorry, 2.5, because this is 2.5% right here. I'm just going to take a guess and say 2.5% minus, okay, a fourth of this would be, a fourth of 2 would be a half. Yeah, so that's a half. So I'm going to take a half. So I'm going to say around 2%. So my empirical rule knowledge, I'm going to say it's going to be around 0.0200. But I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator now, and we're going to see what it says. Okay, so I'm going to hit second, bars, and normal CDF, and I'm going to type in, if I have a new one, okay, I'm going to type in 145, to 9999, and my mean is 100, and my standard deviation is 20. We're going to do yours, Miss Adams, in just a second. .0122, so I went over a little bit. The actual answer is 0.0122. 0.0122. Now let's do Miss Adams' calculator. Second, bars, normal CDF, and it's going, instead of 145, I'm going to type in 2.25. Infinity, it can stay the same, and her calculator automatically has 0 and 1 here, or like it, or she just types in, you know, it doesn't have that ability to change it. Paste, and see if it's the same answer. It's a miracle. All the way down to the 10th digit. So that's how you get the answer if you have a newer calculator or if you have an older calculator. Now I know I've got a few minutes. I'm going to go over one more thing. Now so far we've been given an area and we find the z-score. What if you're given the z-score and you need to find the area? I'm sorry. We're given a z-score. Let me write that down. So far, we've been given an area I meant a z-score. A z-score, and that means we got to find the area. So what if we're given an area? Then that means we got to find the what? Z-score. So let's say we got a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 20. And we want to find the z-score. We want to find the test score.
You have a work email.
For 0.3200. So I'm going to draw a picture. Y'all tired of drawing this picture yet? All right, I'm gonna post 32%. Well, we know this is 16%, 13.5 and 5. I'm sorry, 18%. Is it 18? No, 2 point is 16%. We know this is 16%, and we know that 34, 16%, we're going to divide that in half, that'd be 17. 16 and 17 is what, 33? Somebody check me, what's 16 plus 17? I'm sorry, let me move this over, I'm sorry. What's 16 plus 17%? Y'all just not gonna talk to me. 16 plus 17. This is 16, and I'm thinking this is 17 halfway. That's 33%. We need 30 what? 32%. So I'm going to say 32% is going to fall right in there. And I'm going to say this right here is 32%, 0.3200. And I'm going to say roughly, since we're trying to find the answer as a z-score, I'm going to say that's negative 0.6. So I'm going to say negative 0.60. That's what I think it is. So, because this is negative 0.5 right here. So, let's see what it really is. Well, what do we do? Well, go to your handy dandy calculator. And write this down. Second bars, and you want to find inverse norm. I'm going to let y'all type it because I can't type worth a flip right now. Second bars, there's inverse norm. Inverse norm, you're going to type in the area. Hit enter. So that's going to be 0.3200. 0.3200. And of course, the older calculators will do 0 and 1. The newer calculators, you can type that in. Okay, I'm not going to do that right now. And hit paste. And enter. Negative 0.467. Negative 0.47 is the answer. So negative 0.47 is the answer. Well, how do you know what the test score is? Well, now you use Oz plus mu. So now you use Oz plus mu. X is equal to Oz plus mu. X is equal to, our standard deviation is 20 times negative 0.47 plus 100. Somebody do that math for me. What is 20 times negative 0.47? It equals, and then plus 100. I'm going to say it's between, let's see, this is 90. So 90, a little bit below 90. Let's see, no, that wouldn't be right. Yeah, it'd be, I would say probably like 89. I'm going to say around 89 test score. What did y'all get? You need to unmute yourselves. Okay, y'all still there?
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
Is anybody there? Did I lose y'all?
I got 90.6.
Okay, 90.6. So that is your test score. Now, they may tell you to round it to the nearest, that'd be 91. Okay, and that's the type questions you're going to get in Chapter 7. Now, I know a few of y'all have sent homework questions. I know that. And now that I've finished this, and I finished this Friday, that means next week, Monday and Wednesday, I'll probably be going over nothing but homework questions. Okay? So Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, I'll probably be going over homework questions. I would highly suggest that you watch both videos from the 120s so you can get more homework questions in. Okay? So make sure you do that. Any questions on today's stuff?
No.
I do have a question.
Yes.
What all are we supposed to be doing right now as of like assignments? Just MyLabs Plus and then the test?
Now, I want you to think about that question. What have we been doing all semester?
Yeah, I know we're going to do those. Is there any more e-learning assignments? Or is it just Skype in the class and do your
Skype is just like my email said. All y'all got to do is Skype, watch videos, do homework, and do the test. Did you get my emails that said that?
I did.
Okay, that's all you got to do. I know you're making sure. This is confusing. I understand. Let me just reiterate what we're doing here. We're trying to get y'all through the semester. That's what we're trying to do. Okay? We don't want y'all to feel like you didn't finish the semester. We want you to have the grades that you deserve. And we're trying to get this, we're trying to fit a square, well, I'm not, because I've been doing this all semester. I've been doing this for 3 years, 6 years if you count YouTube. So I'm not trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. 90% of Tri-County Tech is. Okay? So you can see that. Let me ask you this. What's your other instructors doing? Is it a cluster?
My instructors pretty much said, I don't really know how to teach you from home, but I'm going to get you through the semester.
That's exactly.
My teacher said we're not having any more lectures this semester. You're just going to have a quiz.
Yeah, so they don't have to do anything. Yeah, so they don't have to, do anything like what I'm doing.
You're the only teacher doing Skype at the moment.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't doubt that at all. Because I only know of one or two teachers on campus, on any of the campuses. I can name on my hand, one hand, how many teachers can do this. So, anyway, yes, all I want y'all to do, you have your options. You can watch, you can attend like y'all are doing. You can watch the videos of this presentation. Excuse me. You can watch my old classes to reinforce what I'm teaching and do the homework and do the test and exam. When that last week rolls around and you finish your final exam, whatever you have on grade book is basically going to be your grade. Okay?
And just to be sure, if we do just watch the videos, that still counts. Like, we're not counted as
I'm
absent.
not going to count anybody absent. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Do you think I'm going to worry about attendance? No. Okay? I can't. And they told us yesterday that we just have to turn in on attendance on Friday. I'm like, really? I said, y'all are going to make us turn attendance in on Friday. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. And you're going to make us do that. I said, y'all have lost y'all's minds. But anyway. So I'm going to turn in everybody present on Friday because I'm not going to make extra work for myself. So I'm just going to say yes. And if you do the work, then you're going to get the grade. If you don't do the work, then you're going to get an F. Got any other questions? All right, and I do appreciate y'all three, and the three there was 3 or 4 that Scott did the other day. It helps so much to have somebody to teach to, because when I don't have somebody to teach to, I don't do as well. Does that make sense? So make sure that you try to Skype in when you can. Helps me out tremendously. All right, I got to get ready for my next class. I will post this after classes because it eats up too much of my RAM to post it. So I will post it after classes day, which will be after lunchtime. Y'all get out of here and have a good day and don't die on me, all right?